This developing story now. Longwe and Sello Twala are expected to appear in the Randburg Magistrate's Court today. They were arrested after their father, musician Chicco Twala, opened a case of theft against them. They allegedly stole his studio equipment while he was overseas. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is at court for us tracking the story. Nqobile, some background to exactly when they will be appearing. I know that we're waiting to speak to Chicco Twala, who is in the corridor there behind you, but just some background to the story.
Well, Michelle, we understand that at this point, Chicco was in USA. He says before he went to the USA, he spoke to his sons, and he said it was time for them to concentrate on the business that they are working on, which is basically involving these equipments that he uses at home, including his studio and so on. And he said Longwe had been brought by his sister, and the sister said that he had changed, he was coming from a rehab, and things were going to be different. He says he had a conversation about this business and he left for the USA with the trust that they will do things accordingly. However, when he came back, only to find out that some of his equipment was missing and some of his stuff had been stolen. Now, as a result, he then decided that it was time now to bring accountability. He says as a father, he understands that his child has basically been in a relationship, in a sense of substance abuse, and he says that as a result, then he said it was time to take accountability. He'd much rather have him in jail than have him outside there doing things that he cannot control. And he says this is why then he decided to call the police on them and then officially open a case. This is of course something that he says he's hoping that he'll find some form of accountability from his son, and that obviously this will bring about some change. But of course, this now is still a bit dragging. It's still unclear whether they were arrested yesterday or the day before. And this now we understand that from the magistrate court, they are expected to appear, both of them. But he has made it very clear that the issues with Longwe, who has been using these substances. However, with the younger son, he says he knows that the relationship has been different and he has not been using substance. Now, I want to bring in Chicco Twala to speak to us. And of course, you have explained quite deeply about how this has hurt you as a parent to have some of your equipment stolen. But take me through that emotion when you arrived from the USA and only to find that some of your equipment was taken.
Well, as a parent, it's hurting. Sometimes maybe it would have been better if it was criminals who jumped into a house and stole it. But if it's your own son, it's really hurting. It's not a nice thing at all. And, you have electric fence and everything in our houses. We have all those things, protecting ourselves from criminals. Now, you have all these things and the criminals are right inside your house. And it's your kids. It's really not okay. It's really hurting.
What did they take? What happened?
Well, I think on the 3rd, when I left for the US, 3rd of August, I think the ransacking of my studio started, where my son was stealing whatever that he could see and sell it as cheap as he could to whoever that was buying my stuff.
So what led you to the decision then to call the police?
My son has been to rehab more than 30 times. I did everything. And he's my son, like I'm saying that, I've tried to educate him about the good life. I tried to educate him on how to be to be a role model to our society and all that. But he never wanted to change. So I took this decision because I thought, as a parent, enough was enough. That's number one. I did everything I could to actually make sure that he's fine. And my son does not want to change. My son will talk to him today about his behavior, especially stealing and taking drugs. And he will listen now, and tomorrow he repeats the same thing. So I thought, no, maybe this is the time now that he must learn the hard way.
What do you hope then will come out of this?
Well, like anybody, like any criminal who goes astray and they go to prison, and when they come back, they come better people. And that's what I hope. I actually think that maybe him being in prison, arrested, maybe charged, serve some time in jail, I think he'll come back a better person than for him to suffer in the streets and do what he's doing.
Have you considered to sought help or support from organizations or professionals for them?
He's been to a rehab 30 times. Those are professionals. So if those people couldn't help him, remember, rehabs, they've got professional people who will give you all the assistance. So unfortunately, nothing helped.
Were there any early signs that he was struggling with substance abuse?
Not at all. Like I said, that he started when he was 18 years old, and then today he's still taking drugs. I mean, more than 22 years. I mean, I've seen people having those issues, and then they come back to their senses and they stop. But with him, nothing has actually changed. He always lies. He's lying every single day. He's lying. No, I've stopped, going back and all that. So I think I've reached a point that, you know what, enough is enough. I'd rather see him serving time in prison than see him suffer in the streets.
And I suppose this has had an impact on the family dynamics as well as the relationship that you have with your son?
No, of course. I mean, everyone in the family knows, you know, and when he visits, my family members, some of them will hide their stuff and all that because they know that the stuff will disappear. It's not good. It's not nice. I'm not hiding it. My son is a thief. My son is a druggie, you know. That I can confirm, and I won't hide it, because why must I hide the truth?
And of course, two of them are appearing today. It's not just one of them. And I understand this obviously is stressful, but how have you coped as a parent?
Well, it's not easy as a parent, because these are my kids and I love them. They know that I love them very much. Hence, you know, I did everything I could to assist them. And me taking this action does not mean that I hate them. It's just that, especially the elder one, Longwe, I want him to learn a lesson, because to me it looks like it's one person who wants to learn the harder way. You know, the younger one, Sello Twala Jr., I think it's the first time that he got arrested. It's the first time that me and him having these issues. I don't know how he collaborated with Longwe for him to actually be in the situation that he's in now. But when I heard from the helper, who is a witness, he says the main culprit is Longwe. Sello was just trying to protect his brother, because you know how siblings are. So unfortunately, I had to take action on both of them. But the helper says Longwe is the culprit.
And I mean, again, as a parent, what sort of advice would you give to parents out there that are dealing with children that are perhaps having issues with substance abuse?
Look, I think it's very important for us as parents to really come out if we're having issues with our kids, you know. We've seen one of the SABC top executives, Hope Zinde, killed by her own child, you know. And I think because we're very silent and then we don't expose problems with protecting our children and all that, because once we do that, they will come and hurt us. If we allow our kids to go out hurting other people and all that, and we don't talk about it, or taking drugs or doing all this, I think it catches up with us.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Chicco Twala. He's, of course, here, Michelle, on that case of the two sons that are expected to appear before the Magistrate Court today.
Nqobile Madlala, live to us there at the Randburg Magistrate's Court. Thanks very much indeed for that update.